Okay, so I want to make an in-depth Werewolf Tornado Druid guide. I'm going to go over practically everything in this guide. So, items, stat priority, spirit boons, Paragon board, pretty much everything. So I'll start by doing this dungeon showcase, and then I'll go over the build. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole dungeon. I'll show you a clip of like how good the boss damage is, as the clear speed is also really strong, but so is boss damage. So, yeah, here's me killing Butcher in like half a second. Quality's pretty bad, but you can see there's Butcher and he's dead. So yeah, the single target damage is also absolutely insane on this build. You want to see it again? Yeah, he's dead. So now I made a full Google Doc for this, as my character does not have perfect stats in his gear. So I made a Google Doc with all the stats that you want and priority and stuff like that. So we'll go over that real quick. So yeah, I won't go over everything, not to make the video too long, because as you can just read it here for yourself, I have this link in the description below. You get your stat priority. These are the stats you want. So anything in this list, this is like your biz stats, right? And then your other useful stats, this is, stats if you cannot get these biz stats. So you just mix and match with what you can get, right? And lucky hit, vulnerability, and attack speed are your highest priorities. Make sure you have these on every possible piece you can get. Attack speed can only be on gloves. Lucky hit can only be on gloves and rings and your offhand. And the vulnerability can be on rings, weapon, and I think that's it. But yeah, get these on every single piece you can get. Spear cost reduction is only useful for speed farming. The reason why is you don't have enough spirit sustain when you're one-shotting enemies, as your spirit sustain comes from your unique helmet, a legendary node in your Paragon tree, and your spirit bond. So yeah, when you're one-shotting enemies, you don't have really good spirit. So this is why you need spirit cost reduction if you're speed farming, but for high-end Nightmare Dungeon pushing, you don't need this. And by the way, someone has, cleared Nightmare 100 with a build similar to this one. I say similar because his Paragon board is a lot more defensive, as you need more defense in high Nightmare Dungeons and not DPS. But yeah, the build I'm showing here is a regular overall good rounder. This build will get you level 100. It's probably the best Druid build to get you level 100. It's probably overall one of the best builds in the game, in my opinion. But yeah, you can do all content as this build. I do believe Lilith is also possible on this build when Lilith gets bug fixed. She's a pretty buggy fight right now. You can push really high Nightmare Dungeons and even 100 Nightmare Dungeon if you change your Paragon board. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I have everything listed here with all the stat priorities. I guess the only thing to really go over is the amulet, because this is the hardest piece to get. You really, really want ranks to Venom. I'll show you why in the Paragon tree. Skill tree. And you really need cooldown reduction. Yeah, cooldown reduction, really, really important. Ranks to Venom, really, really important. I should actually mention this here. CDR is very important. So yeah, you need CDR on every single piece you can get as well to have really high Grizzly Rage uptime. So yeah, you can look for this over yourself. I'll just link them below, of course. Also, next thing I want to go over is, of course, my skill tree and my Paragon board. So we'll start with the skill tree. With skill tree, the only thing to really talk about here is some of the notes that I took. This is pretty standard Werewolf Tornado stuff, but yeah, I want to talk about Nature's Reach here and Predatory Instinct. So one of these, is crit strike versus close enemies, and the other one is multiplicative damage versus distant enemies. The reason why I have both is because Tornado does not snapshot. This means when you Tornado and move away from the enemy, you will lose this critical strike chance, but you'll gain this damage versus distant enemies. So I take this because it's really, really nice for speed farming, and because there's no other useful nodes to take in general for this build. So the only other nodes you could take if you don't want to take Nature's Reach is Ancestral Fortitude, which is, it's okay. Majority of the damage you take is physical. That's why I don't really care for this. And you take more points in Circle of Life. Well, you can take some points in Nature's Resolve. I think Nature's Resolve is pretty bad. 5% chance when struck to fortify you for 4% base life. You already have permanent fortify with Grizzly Rage. And this is just such a low chance, I just don't think it's worth taking. So yeah. If you don't want to take Nature's Reach, I think your best bet is Circle of Life and Ancestral Fortitude. And once again, I'll have this full D4 builds planner link below, so you can see the full skill tree yourself. Everything else is pretty much like I say mandatory in the build. There's nothing else you really want to change here. Talk about a Venom. I said an Amulet. This is absolutely an insane damage multiplier. So each point, right, is 10% more critical strike damage per point. So you're dealing 10% more damage per crit. This is a multiplier. That's why having +3 in your amulet is really, really important. I don't have it currently. I'm trying to get one. So yeah, it's absolutely insane. You slow by Toxic Claws and Neurotoxin. So yeah, you poison with Toxic Claws and you slow with Neurotoxin. This is how you activate your conditionals. Really, really easy and nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the skill tree. So go over to Paragon board real quick. So Paragon board, I min-max this to the most I can. If I do change my Paragon board in any way, I'll just update the links in the description. But yeah, I think this is like 99% min-maxed. To go over this real quick, first board is just the Spirit Glyph. It's more damage, pretty nice. Critical strike damage. Second board is the Lust of Carnage. This helps you sustain Spirit. Once again, also pretty nice. And of course, we're using the Werewolf Glyph, the introduction damage. Next board is Thunderstruck. And you get the Earth and Sky Glyph here. Once again, more damage. And you also get damage reduction. This is actually pretty nice. I'm gonna get this node soon too. But yeah, pretty nice damage reduction here, as along with damage. And then you really want to path up here for these nodes. Really, really, it's probably the stronger nodes on the tree, honestly. Vuln damage and crit damage, really, really strong nodes. Along with these attack speed nodes, also really, really strong. Next board. And it does matter how you path with this board, because rare nodes, right, have these bonus requirements. So, after this Thunderstruck board, you want to go to this board, which is the Heightened Malice board. And I am taking the Werewolf Glyph here, Fang Claw Glyph. Once again, really nice because you get both damage reduction and a decent amount of damage. And the bonus here, 12% more damage from close enemies. Really, really strong. So, next, after that board, you want to take the Constricting Tendrils. Yeah, we're taking this board next because we're only taking 2 rare nodes here, so meeting these bonus requirements, which we're probably not going to meet, it's not that important, right? Losing 4% max life and 10% nature magic skill damage is not too bad. And we're taking the Exploit Glyph here. The last board we're taking, and this is important to take this as the last board, because we take no rare nodes on this board, so we don't care about these requirements, right? Ancestral Guidance, 30% more damage, really, really strong. Yeah, the only thing to talk about, like what you can change on these boards, is kind of the glyphs. You can also use, let me see if I have it, yeah, you could take Undaunted Glyph, more damage reduction, instead of one of these damage glyphs, so you could take it over, I would say over Exploit. This is only for like really high Nightmare Dungeon pushing, so Exploit's actually really strong for DPS and Speed Farmer to instantly apply vulnerability. But for high-end Nightmare Dungeon pushing, when mobs take a while to kill, you don't instantly one-shot them, you take a lot more damage, then this Undaunted Glyph can be slotted in here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Paragon board tree. Like I said, I think I min-max this to the most I can. There's very few you can change. Like this rare node. I only take it because I think 1 point for 10 willpower and 8% all resist is pretty good. Resist is pretty bad in this game, but 10 willpower is 1% damage. So yeah, I think this board is pretty much min-max. If you want to change anything, you certainly can. I'll have a full level 100 tree down below. Probably like a level 9 tree and level 80 something tree. I won't have anything below that because this helmet is pretty rare. And maybe you get lucky and get it early, but yeah, I didn't get this helmet to level 87 personally. So I think the only thing to go over last is the spirit boons. So I have Wariness, Avian Wrath, Calamity, and Calm Before the Storm. This is always what you want, and the bonus boon you have two options. You go Energize for speed farming, because you're really that spirit, or you go Masochistic for high-end Nightmare Dungeon pushing. Since you're critting like dozens of times a second, this will instantly get you max life. So it's really, really strong for survivability and those high-end Nightmare dungeons. But yeah, I'm just using Energize, so I'm trying to speed farm to 100 right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Try to make this video as quick as I could, and all the information is linked down below. If you have any, questions, just comment below. I'll answer it like always. I guess, oh yeah, for gems, just emeralds for weapons, sapphires for armor, and skull for jewelry. And also, I guess one more thing to mention is you see I'm using this unique chest. I only use this unique chest for speed farming because it gives movement speed. Otherwise, I would use this defensive chest for everything else. So yeah, that's it.